Okay, a la Robin Williams. Good morning, Angelina fans. Excuse me. From what was that movie? Good Morning Vietnam, I think was the name of it. Anyway, this is not a war zone. This isn't wartime. This is love, kindness, and listening to beautiful music time. And it's Angelina Jordan singing "Strangers in the Night." I remember that. I think it was Dean Martin. I don't know who made it popular, but I think it was Dean Martin. I heard sing it a couple times. I thought he did a really great job, and wouldn't be surprised if Frank Sinatra sang it. You know, the Rat Pack guys, uh, all kind of they just sort of fit with this sort of a thing, I guess, right? So let's get listening. The first one here is this one over here is a rehearsal. Let's listen to that first. Okay, we're going to start at the beginning. I always think that's a good place to start. Strangers in the night, expecting dances, wandering the night. What were the chances of we sharing love before the lights? Something in your eyes was so exciting. Something in your smile was so inviting. Something in my heart told me I must have you. Strangers in the night, two lonely people. We were strangers in the night. Up to the moment when we said our first hello. Little did we know love was a mystic love so well. One remembering love so well. Ever since that night, we've been together. Love was at first sight, and our love forever turned out to right. For strangers in the So we just heard Angelina and rehearsal and talk about smooth. You know, it's just it's I've got a classic here on the screen, but it's like classy too. It's such a whole different era of music that came from, and then Angelina brings it back, and she personifies the whole genre in so many ways. Just her demeanor, her character, her nature. She's classy. She's elegant. She's all these different things. That's what they tried to. A lot of the jazz singers tried to portray. You know, they used to. Um, well, it's a whole different era. Let's put it that way. This is an era of when men and women went out. If they were it didn't matter if they were performers or whether they were just people watching a show or whatever it might be. When they went out,
they didn't throw on sweatpants and a t-shirt, okay? The ladies put on elegant clothing, beautiful dresses, gowns. Back in those days, furs, jewelry, all kinds of, all decked out, ready to go. And the men always wore suits. Pretty much always wore suits. You hardly ever saw a guy back in the days that didn't wear a suit all day long. I mean, construction workers don't wear suits, but I mean, people going out to see a show or something like that, yeah, they got dressed up. They were classy looking. Nowadays, you wander in with a pair of shorts with holes in them hanging down, a dirty T-shirt like I got on, and a pair of clogs or sandals. Not back in those days, you didn't do that. They wouldn't even let you in. But yeah, that was. I still remember that. I was born in 1955, so I remember I came up when some of that stuff was kind of starting to fade away when you moved into the 60s with the hippies and all that kind of stuff. Things started to change. You got a little more casual, and there's nothing wrong with any of it. I mean, because our whole existence as human beings is all about evolution, right? We're evolving into what? I'm not sure, but we are evolving and changing all the time. We have to. It's the nature of our being is to evolve and change. Stagnation isn't really part of who we are. Yeah, maybe in some ways, but not. I don't think as beings. So let's move on to the next one. We'll go to the center performance here. that 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 performance right there, that concert, uh, Angelina was exceptionally on point with everything she did in that concert. Every song was just was a killer, you know, and including that one. This one's a mellow, soft. It's not a rah rah song, okay. But some of the other ones she did, feeling, I think it was feeling good, right? Yeah, I think so. One of them that she did was just a powerhouse song. But the whole concert, actually, she was really, she seemed tuned in, if you want to put it that way. So let's go ahead and move on to the third video.
Something in your eyes was so exciting. Something in your smile was so inviting. Something in my heart told me I must have you. Strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Up to the moment when we said our first word, little did we know, love was a glimpse away, all warm and dancing ever so high. Ever since that night, we've been together, lovers at the first sight, in love forever, turned out so right, for strangers in strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Up to the moment when we said our first word, little did we know, love will turn to glimpse away, all warm and dancing dance away. Ever since that night, we've been together, lovers at the first sight. Forever, turned out so right, for strangers in the night.
Very good, as always. Yeah, Angelina's just got, you know, that genre, she's just got it nailed down. I mean, it's, every time she does one of the songs, it's like I'm getting transported back into the time I never even lived in. I mean, I was born in, you know, like I told you, 1955. By the time I was 10 years old at 65, it's the mid 60s. And those were some different times than any of this kind of stuff. Um, you know, naturally back in those days, you know, I watched old, you know, they weren't even old movies back then. They were kind of fresh. Black and white movies, Humphrey Bogart, you know, the Rat Pack, you know, all. Yeah, I watched all. That's all there was to watch. You know, it wasn't like I had a lot of choices. And you know, I tell the story that my when I was young, I can remember the TV that we had. The earliest version of a TV that I can remember was a small black and white TV with rabbit ears on it, like you see in some of the old movies, you know. And you had to move the rabbit ears around in order to get. We could get a total on a good day when it wasn't overcast or too bad of weather outside. On a good day, we could get 3 stations. Most of the time, we could only get 2. You know, nowadays there's 10,000, right? Counting streaming and everything, there's hundreds, if not thousands. And we had, we could get 3 and 8 were the same station, but sometimes we could get 3, sometimes we get 8, sometimes we get both. Woohoo! That's a big day at the office right there. And then we had 9 and 13 were the same station, and sometimes we could get one, but sometimes we get the other. I live in central, what we call the Finger Lakes area of New York. We're about halfway between Rochester and Syracuse. So 3 and 8, I believe, came out, if I remember right, came out of Rochester, and 9 and 13 came out of Syracuse. So we could get, depending on which way the wind was blowing, we could get one or both of those 2 stations. So even though there was 4 channels that were operational, only they were just the same channel twice on 2 different channels. And then, on rare occasions, we could get channels 5 and 10. Ooh, wow, were we so lucky. And I don't know where they came from, but they, what city I don't remember what city they came from, but yeah, on occasion we could get that one. So when you went to watch TV at night, you know, you didn't have the streaming service where you could pick up from hundreds of movies, thousands of movies. You had those channels to pick from. Whatever was on that's what you were watching, because there wasn't any selection, any choice. There was no streaming, there was no internet, there was none of that. So, you know, I watched a lot of that old stuff. I mean, and there was like the beginnings of sitcoms and lots of other things on TV. Oh, I don't know, Mr. Ed, My Mother in the Car, the Beverly Hillbillies. There's so many, you know. Lots of different shows on TV. Star Trek, of course, started back in the '60s, and the good old days, right? When the weather was bad, I used to have my little brother used to have to stand there and hold the rabbit ears. Sometimes if he stuck his hand up certain ways, it would get better reception. Yeah, I don't think he ever really liked doing that, but I never asked him. I just told him to go do it. Get over there, grab those rabbit ears, will you? And yeah, those are the good old days, I guess. For me, not so much for him, I guess. So let us move on. Thanks for watching, guys. I think all 3 of these versions are great, and you know, the rehearsal, Angelina is extremely relaxed. You know, when she gets into performance, she never really looks nervous. I know on the one on the far right here, she was monkeying with her ear thing, you know. I guess that ear thing is so you can hear the other musicians in real time, so you can, you know, be with them, I guess, is the way to look at it. And it looked like she was having some problems there. But Angelina being a professional, there's no such thing as a problem. You just deal with it and keep going, right? So that's that. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. This came, by the way, this 3-song Strangers in the Night came as a suggestion from one of my frequent visitors to my channel. Frequent, like pretty much every day, okay? And so thank you very much I'll give you credits in my description box for sending this along to me, okay? Thank you, and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.